Hey, this is Matthew. Welcome back to Nerd News Today, and on this episode, we are taking a look at some Dragon Ball Super figures from Bandai. And we're not just talking about one figure, we're actually going to be talking about two figures, and consider this a tease, because we're looking now at Saiyan Prince Vegeta, and we can't do a video about Saiyan Prince Vegeta without his best bro, right? Without Nappa. So yeah, we've got the two figures side by side, and these two guys are who we see pretty much in the very beginning of the Dragon Ball Z series. These are the first two antagonists, and I have to tell you guys, I am super excited about these figures because I love Bandai action figures. I really have rarely had bad things to say about them. I can't remember any bad things actually I've said about them in previous reviews, like when I looked at the Anime Heroes line. So if you want to see me gush about those figures, go ahead and dig them up in our archives. But today we're taking a look at Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Star Series Vegeta, and Nappa. That's a mouthful. So let's take a closer look at these packages here. These guys just look so good just immediately in the boxes. I mean, I cannot wait to see how they look out of them. But real quick, I guess we should talk about the packaging. And what you can basically see is what you get here. I mean, these are pretty simple, basic packaging, but they look good. Now, granted, I don't really know a lot of folks who collect these in the packaging, but if you're one of them, let me know. But it's basically a very simple black box, just basically a rectangular box, nothing fancy, no crazy die cuts on it, really. It's got some sort of a texture pattern, which is like almost an impact look, you know, so it's almost like a crater or something just hit them and this is the look. So it's like nice and cracked, really simple pattern, but looks pretty shiny, looks very nice. We have speaking of shiny, we have a very shiny logo here at the Dragon Stars logo and their names. Big window, and that's basically what you're gonna see throughout all of the Dragon Ball figures we're gonna look at today is very big windows so you can see everything in there. Nothing really too interesting on the sides, just you get, you know, images of the characters from the anime. And then on the back, well, even less interesting detail there, because it's just basically who else is in this line, and this line is purely just Vegeta and Nappa. No bios, no information about who else is in the line, no information about accessories, because they don't really have a ton in these particular figures, and not really any looks at other lines of these toys either, because, you know, we also have the Anime Heroes line, which we've talked about on this channel before, but really nothing, just very sparse packaging, and it basically just beckons to be opened. So, well, I think I have to do what it says. So let's go ahead and take these guys out of the box. All right, so here's our Vegeta and our Nappa out of the packaging. And I think the question that a lot of you people are probably wondering right now, and it's a pretty important one, is does this armor come off? Does it come off to reveal their physiques underneath it and just have them in their normal outfits? The answer is no. This is molded onto them completely. This does not come off. None of this armor comes off. So sorry, you guys, but that would definitely add to the cost of these toys. Maybe down the line they'll do something like that if they haven't already done that. But what you see is what you get here. But what you get is really great, because, I mean, this is some top-notch sculpting here. I mean, this looks like it's pulled straight from the anime. It looks so good, very accurate. And I'm not going to be counting all the different lines on their armor here, but I'm going to just go ahead and say that it's identical to the show. I'm going to just take that risk here. Likewise, the colors and their power scanners, too, I'm going to say it looks pretty good, because, I mean, they look really good. Those power scanners are such a cool little thing. And again, if you're wondering, do these come off? The answer is no. That is molded onto their heads. Sorry, you guys, you can't swap them out to other figures. It is what it is. Now, can you swap the heads? Possibly, but I don't really think these toys are meant to do that. So if you did want to swap any heads, put these on other toys, you're going to want to definitely heat up those joints very, very, very much, either with a lot of hot water or a very hot hair dryer. But that's a different video. Now let's talk about likenesses here, because these things look really great. They just look so much like the cartoon, like I'm not going to get over that. But, you know, I feel like anime is one of those things where you can either nail it on the first try or it's completely wrong and it looks terrible. And Bandai's been doing this for a long time, you guys, so they know how to make these things look good. These look exactly the way that they should. These are perfect. Like, to me, these likenesses are just one for one, which is so hard to do with something that's like 2D in the world of anime. Like, they nailed this. I mean, the likenesses, again, likenesses are fairly simple, but that's kind of the problem in them, because they don't really offer you a lot of depth to sculpt a toy out of. But they've done that. They've figured out how to do it and make it work really nicely. Paint jobs are also very clean as well. You know, I'd say this is probably the first time I've actually seen a little bit of a paint splotch on Nappa's head, but I'm pretty sure if I magic eraser that gently, I can probably get that little smudge off his head. I don't even know if you guys can even notice it, because it's very, very tiny, very small little thing there. Back of the head, of course, you know, Nappa's bald, so not much to talk about, but can we talk about that flowing head of Vegeta hair? I mean, wow. And nice to know, it's also not that sharp. It's actually not sharp at all. So, I mean, yeah, if you jab someone in the eye with it, it's going to hurt, like, a lot. But as far as it being pointy and sharp and being an actual weapon, it is not. So that's cool. And this is also nice. I was actually wondering how they're going to deal with the problem of their tails being wrapped around them. And I was wondering, too, would those tails be some kind of articulation or anything like that? Unfortunately, they are not. But yeah, they do have their tails. There they are. So let's go ahead now, and I think we should spend some time talking about articulation, because I think that's one of those things that Bandai figures really, really are excellent at. They really excel at doing that, not really at the cost of the figure. And when I say that, I mean, like, you know, these are toys. And when you have articulation in a toy, it shows lots of joints. These Bandai toys in general tend to have a lot of very exposed joints. They're not really hidden that well. You see them. You pretty much have to see them. But that said, they incorporate them really well, and they're worth it because these guys are meant to fight and move around. So yeah, you want to have a lot of joints in these guys. So let's go ahead and we'll just start talking about them here. So they both have left and right heads. Looks like it's actually the neck joint on Nappa that moves as well as the head independently from that. So that's kind of nice. And it looks like, yeah, it's going to be the same thing for Vegeta. Now, it is ball jointed, so you can get nice, good range of motion there too. Now let's find out about the big question here, which is the shoulder pads. I'm wondering, do these hinder the articulation? Are they part of the articulation? Let's find out here. So yes, they actually do move a little bit. They have a little bit, oh, you can actually just pop them off completely. All right, so that's good to know. So you can really get some good posing in there if you want, because, you know, without it, they can't move much, but yeah, you can actually just slide them around, and that's great. And you can hear them, they snap back in place, so that's good to know. But yeah, they do have full range of motion on the shoulders in that case, both them. You know, if I'm doing it on Nappa just because Nappa's a bigger character, and bigger characters tend to not move as well, but he's moving just as equally good as Vegeta is. So yeah, we've got double jointed elbows, which is great. I love that. We have wrists that are very, very flexible also. They bend, they flex, they rotate. Great articulation here. Now, as far as chest goes, there is, it looks like, waist articulation. There we go. Oh, well, there you guys can see the actual joint. I don't think it was meant to do that, but yeah, he's, oh, interesting. So yeah, you actually can take that off. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can, because again, the rest of his armor looks like it does not come off. I'm saying that because you can see the molding there. But okay, that was a weird, unexpected thing that you can actually swap that off. I'm gonna put this back on here because that's also kind of unsettling to see Nappa in his undies. So the waists do move, but I would probably suggest you don't move them that much because it is a little bit of a tight joint there. And the fact that I just disrobed Nappa is very unsettling. So yeah, it looks like both of them are gonna have that issue. So something to be aware of. A surprising little detractor in there, but yeah, if you're gonna move them around, maybe don't move the waist too much or be very gentle with it, because I think that belt is actually what's kind of making them, pop this thing out way easier. Now, as far as legs go, yeah, I was actually, again, worried about these padding getting in the way, but no, you still got pretty good range of motion here, and they have double jointed knees as well, which is perfect. The boots, let's see, looks like the boots do not move. Let's see, it might just be that they're very stiff, but it looks like they don't move. So that's one thing you don't get. But you do get the feet that have a nice exposed ball joint, so you get a good amount of articulation there. So, okay, the boots don't move. Not really a major problem, though, because for the most part, the posing you're going to do won't really involve turning their boots too much. There's also no thigh cut like you would see, let's say, in like a WWE action figure, like an Elite or anything like that. So you're not getting that, but you're still getting a pretty great amount of articulation for this price point, and I can't really argue that too much. Now, as far as accessories go, Vegeta comes with a pair of additional hands, which you can see here, and Nappa has 3 additional hands, so total of 5 hands. That's it for accessories. I'm just gonna pop 1 or 2 out right now. Let's just see if it's easy or not to do that. Goodbye. Oddly enough, I'm just realizing all 3 of the hands that Nappa comes with are actually for his right hand, not his left. So, okay, let's try that again. Interesting thing to note there. But let's go ahead and just pop out another hand. I'm wondering if that's a mistake or something, because that's kind of weird that they're all the same. In fact, I'm actually looking at these hands here. These look like they're identical, don't they? Like, maybe there's a mistake here. Not quite sure what's up with that, but yeah, so yeah, the hands, they swap very easily. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the same for Vegeta. And the difference basically between what Vegeta has is he gets a pair of closed fists and a pair of open hands. So that's pretty much the main difference for it. Yeah, comes out nice and easy and goes back in just as easily too. So there you guys have it. Good articulation, decent accessories, nothing too crazy, but I'll explain in another video a little bit later on why they don't really have anything else with them. Because you might be wondering where the power effects are. Well, that's actually a different toy and a different video altogether, so we'll come back to that point. Now, how do these guys look next to some other figures? Well, I just happen to have a few other things here, and I've got a pair of WWE basic figures. So I've got a basic Eddie Guerrero, and I've got a basic Samoa Joe, just to show you guys how they look. And they're pretty much in scale with any 6-inch figure you have. They're looking quite nice here, but let's try, just because I also have one of these at the moment, how about a Cobra Bat Trooper from the G.I. Joe Classified series? Yeah, no, he's pretty much in scale. So I mean, the fact that these two lines, which are from Hasbro and from Mattel respectively, are looking fine and in scale with them, that's pretty good. I mean, if anything, I might say that perhaps the Bandai figures are a little bit smaller, because maybe Nappa should actually be bigger. I think he probably should be bigger, in fact, by a little bit. But, you know, what does matter at least is that they're close enough in scale so that if you are going to pose them together, they're good enough. It's going to fit together. It's not going to look weird to have them next to toys from other lines. So maybe you want them bigger. That's a fair thing to say, but at the very least, they're in scale, and that makes me happy. So final thoughts on these two guys here. You know, no complaints. I really don't ever have complaints about Bandai figures, and again, don't really have them here. If I wanted to have maybe some nitpicky things here, I would say that the waist joints being the way they are, a little weird. I don't know if they can do anything to fix that, but just really a point of something to watch out for. Otherwise, I'm very happy with the articulation, really happy with the design of these guys. Paint job is super clean, other than like one little spot, which again, I don't even know if you guys can even notice it that much. For the most part, I mean, Bandai has such clean paint jobs. They're so good at this, so it's never really thing you have to worry about. They're just solid, great action figures. Great in package, especially great out of the box, and really more so out of the box. The only thing that's missing from them are like really cool power effects and that kind of thing. Unfortunately, if you want those, that is a different line, so you have to just keep your eyes out for those. But I mean, again, these are pretty great on their own. So even without power effects, they're still very, very cool. Highly recommend them. Definitely recommend you guys get them for yourself. And if you'd like to get these two figures for yourself, as well as some other Dragon Ball Super figures from Bandai, check out my Amazon affiliate links below. If you click those links and buy anything with them, it helps support this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. So that's it for these two figures, but stay tuned because we've got a lot more Dragon Ball goodness coming to you guys very, very soon. So until next time, I'm Matthew, this is Nerd News Today, and we will see you guys Kamehame next time.